All right, my beloved, we're going to try that again. You know how it is. You try and do a nice tarot video. You try and big up the healing arts. And technological processes sure get in their way. So as we were talking, right, the healing arts is the social interaction in between each other that we get. There's something that happens at the hypothalamic pituitary axis, right, the pineal gland between multiple people, where two or more are gathered in my name, there am I. And that I am, or we're hoping, is the great Ein Sof, which is the infinite potential we call the thing that anything could come out of, right? It's not any one thing. Can't be a man, can't be a woman, can't have a form, because a form allows something to be boxed into a shape, a construct, right? And that's not infinite authority and possibility, right? So the great everything fractioned out aspects for us and gave us powers. The chief of which that we interact with, right, are the zodiac, which where we come from, our individuality, our infinite individual essence comes out of the zodiac, which is why they tell you star families you come out of, right? Initially, you live your lives here, and whatever happens, you either live a disposition out and end up in Jupiter, right, which is like the middle class kind of ideal, or up in the stars, which is like a certain concept here, right? Or you end up back in the cube in Saturn, which is all the mind power comes out. You're the fraction of God that your mind is, your individual. Oh, let's get a confirmation on that. Oh, Saturn on that. Confirmation's a 5. It flopped a pack out on me, and we were talking about Saturn and Leo. Leo is telling you about Saturn because I was born on the Sabbath, right? The new moon, which is Saturn's day. Not only Saturday, but the new moon, right? And we're talking about Kiyun, right? The Saturn of the solar system. He is a personality, a power, an individuality, right? A fractionable God mind that's infinitely intelligent and infinitely fractionable of its entirety. It's like an operating system. All of it is there all the time, right? Preeminent access to reality, right? So that's Saturn, the chief of our solar system in dispositions and interactions, right? So we hope Saturn, allows us to dwell for him, because we're all trying to get right. We believe we're in purgatory, right? Purgatory, we're purging the old person. Some of us took our own lives. Some of us had whatevers that were odd dispositions, and we're trying, they're the gods, right? The solar system, the powers, because those planets move around without your authority. Anything that can move intelligent of its own, and they don't always follow the perfectly same path, that's intelligence then, right? It's choosing not to do things. And they have micro and macro cycles that allow Jupiter to get closer, Saturn to get closer. It's a constantly, we don't think it's just a creation it's a creation and an evolution. It was created and it evolves, and it's a work in process and a work in progress. We are in one of the realms where people lived a life before, right, that had a certain disposition that wasn't great, right? And we're here trying to purge out those things from those previous lives and live just a normal life, right? We believe that we, as a youngster, took our own, as Saturn told us, and that we have something to deal with here, right? We have to drink it down Malefic. So he said I took my life as a 12-year-old, and he put me back to square one and made me live the whole life. And it's going to be like the same kind of life I was going to have, except a bunch of crap happened, right? It happens over and over. And I just have to endure, I hope, right? And hope for better, right? Let's get a confirmation on that. This is purgatory. No upside down. Give it an 8. 8 is Saturn, right? It's actually Hod, right? But 8 is one of Saturn's numbers because he's the infinite, right? I know they use it with Mercury, Hawad, at the bottom of the Sephiroth, right? But really, it's a Saturn number. No upside downs, yes. So, we're taking the upside down ones today. How about you know it? All right, let's get off of the Kaiwan thing, because realistically, I'm here supposed to warn you guys. Don't take your own. Don't take other. Don't do any of that kind of stuff, guys. Don't be hurting other people. Don't be, because this power dwells, the lion of our people dwells in the interactions, right? He dwells not only in our mind, but in our interactions and dispositions of how things work out for us. Right? We hope that we can find favor and love and hope and contentment in our powers, the Elohim, which are the planets, guys. The Greeks were worshiping them. The ancients were worshiping them. The Moabites, aka the incest babies, the Chinese, because, if you're a biblical paradigm, dogma type, the Chinese are incest babies, right? That's the children of Lot, both Ammon and Moab. Moab are supposedly the Asian Chinese, and the Ammon is the Japanese and Philippine kind of thing. Bottom line, they slandered them as the incest children of Lot, according to the scriptural content, right? I don't believe that. I absolutely don't believe that. There's a confirmation on that. Is that what they say? That's exactly what they say. It's an air card. So it's kind of sad, because I used to have to say that too, right? It's two-edged sword. I used to say stupid shit like that, because I was wrapped up in the Hebrew Israelite paradigm where I thought you couldn't leave it without death, right? Yahweh and Yahweh Shai wants you to go till death. And they were all going to fucking get their heads cut off because they didn't take the microchip or something. Just don't take the chip if you don't want to take the chip. If you get cut out of society, you get cut out of society. But there's no indication that they're the people, or they're the right names, or any of that stuff. The stuff is planetarium. I mean, it's more cosmic than individualities and personas. There's individualities and personas that added value to the entirety of humanity, right? That weren't religious, right? What about science? I mean, those are the healing arts. I know we went off on a tangent on allopathic medicine. It's kind of like taking an amorphic, dystopian break from humanity, trying to directive evolutionize diseases that don't exist so that we could come up with cures for things that are never going to exist, because the direction evolution happens in a lab, and the propensity of that being a problem is lab oriented, right? The process of solution is the problem creator, right? Justice on that. We think those things could be dropped and humanity could be still okay. A lot of the pathogens have a patent on it. I mean, that's a little malicious. A little malefic. Does that mean we're in heaven? All right. So we're talking about how your individual personality breaks off into aspects, right? And at the Page of Wands, good news and communication, right? So what we're talking about is the fractionation of God and mind, right? We're talking about from the great infinite possibility that doesn't look like anything specific down to there are other things, but what we deal with is our solar system, right? We are a little microcosm, and our Elohim, our powers, are in the planets, orbitals, sun, moon, and earth, right? Really from Pluto on down, because what I was shown is we're governed by what we see, right? And the moment we were seeing out to Pluto, our sorcerers, they're astrologers, astronomers and stuff like that. They still have those, they're the sorcerers. They're supposed to come up with stuff, like that's why they have the seal of Saturn for Congress and a bunch of stuff. They're supposed to come up with this stuff so that they have the seals to have the authority, the chief authority over the age, which this realm right now, it is Saturn's. But you can get benefic help and other stuff through the other polarity, because Saturn is the Boaz pillar, and Jachin is the pure pillar on the right. Well, they call him benefic, but let's be honest. Let's call him more neutral with appeal process, right? Because they don't have any obligation to help you. They also could probably do something not so benefic. They could do a benefically malefic. You get something that gets you something else, right? Bottom line, you want to be in a process where you find beneficial favor, not beneficial favor to do things that are not good for you. Always wisdom. Kind of like the Greek poets and writers, where they had an individual had to fight against the gods and had an on-off relationship with them. They kind of want to be a little conflicted. But me, I'm all gung-ho for fucking Neptune. I'm tuning my tune to Neptune, right? Because I want a little bit of help, a little bit of favor, maybe a little woe, or, I don't know. Could be good. Looking at confirmation on that. Emperor on that. Aries, yes. We're actually still in Aries right now. Like that. The Emperor. Power, status, loyalty, motive. This is for control, security, order, and ambition. Anybody pursuing something new, an endeavor, an enterprise, you're watching this. This is a good card for that. Just because you're not aligned with listen, this is how tarot can go. You might not be aligned with the message, but the card that might come up for the question that's in your mind that you can't ask me might be on this, right? For that thing. Nice card, right? It's a major arcana card, you know. Emperor, you know. It's not a wands, it's not a swords, it's not a cups, it's not a pentacles. It's a major arcana, right? So strong indicators when you get major arcanas, and when you get like the knight, the page, the face card of the suit, right? Let's see what we got here. King of Swords. That's a yes on that. Abundant, yes, in Aquarius and Capricorn there, right? And this is truth, right? Intelligence. That's what this card says. Truth and intelligence, right? It's got the chakra. I didn't learn the chakras yet. But when I do, I'm going to tie that in. So I get the cards with all this on them, you know? So we want to be able to build up to where, you know, it's like a benefactor for people. It's like healing arts. They can hear things. They're like, damn. I was thinking a question. He just said that thing where, like, I was thinking of a question. I wish he would answer this question, but a card came up that answered that question. That's how that works. Did it happen this time? We're not taking them upside down there now. This is going to be the Chariot. Determination, control, and conquest. Success, ambitious, clever, and courageous. I know it's at a wrong direction. But that's not what we're not reading for me. We're reading for you, y'all. And that's a determination, victory, and journey for y'all, right? Determination, victory, and journey. Or maybe it is upside down. Hold on. What's upside down? We'll read it upside down just in case, because it did come upside down. Wrong direction, lack of judgment, reckless action, failure, overbearingness, unfairness, scattered energy, trouble, pressure. That's how I feel right now. But we're going to cohesive at some point in time. I don't know when. Maybe next life. Maybe it'll be next life, guys. My optimism extends into the infinite. The infinite optimism. Next time, bucko. Self-imposed confinement. Something I'm doing that I can come out of my own will, huh? Now let's do your reading. I'm tired of the cards coming up for me. And then being like, these cards are saying stuff about me. I wasn't even asking questions. Page of Swords. Strong will, sharp intelligence, deep insight. What are you trying to do for reading for me? Let's shake a reading down for y'all. Let's consider the many things. The many things that could be. The fractional emanations. So, we're talking about emanations of the fraction of the power. We have Alahayim here, the planets, right? And the intelligences in them are aspects we have, right? They're personified by the planets, right? And the planets, according to the Greeks and the ancients, they had personifications, individualities, ideals, right? Concepts associated with them, even geometry associated with them, even sigilry associated with them, ancient information and knowledge associated with each aspect, an emanation, a fraction allowed for us to interact with, to expand our minds and get access to, right? Create imagery or come up with ideas, situations, talking points, and pull them out of the ether, if you will, instead of having to go to books, right? Because what did they do way back when they were, the spirit of the power told them how to build the temple, did it not? Yes, no. I'm pretty sure I read the spirit of the power told them how to fucking build the thing. By X cubits, Y cubits, Z length and height, right? I'm pretty sure I read that. Cards don't get it always. You get double confirmation. Yep. Gotta have a yep on that. Double yep. With an 8 on it. Mercury. Sagittarius. Intimately linked with luck, communication, good news, and message. Let's see. How about this? Look at that one. We got it upside down. Exaggerated sensuality. It's sensational. Oh, shit. How about it? Illogical. That's your boy over here. We'd have something going on if we were more illogical. We're more fantastic. Yes, on that. That's a Queen of Cups. Intuition, sixth sense, delicate senses. I'm a delicate type. Perception. Are you a delicate type? Are you a melting snowflake? Don't melt snowflake. Here, let's shake these down. We don't want to offend quite yet. We want 20 minutes in before we really start offending. Here. We want to ask questions, guys. I know you can't interact with me from a distance, but the questions. We want questions about the function of reality and what our inputs are. What is the next big thing for humanity? And do we get access to it? How can we emanate like the great people of the past? The mystics, the sorcerers. What is it they was doing? I reckon the planets is what they was doing, right? They was talking to the planets. And I know the one planet talks to me. And I'm positive it's Saturn. Saturn's pretending he's all the other planets, right? And this is his realm. He just wants us to worship on the planets because he has a fun time watching all that, whatever. And your Jeebus, whatever. He loves that shit, running around with the tea. Loves your tea. Love your tea too. Love your tea. The cross of Saturn's where it's at. I reckon. So that's what the tea really is, guys. It's the sun cross. Cross of Saturn. One of the two. Jordan Maxwell, right? You know, that's the reality of it. It's not any of those other things. Because Christianity existed 500 years before the curse. The curse. The tea. Right? Here. Is this on that? Pentacles. Star Warrior on that. He's a Star Warrior. Lifting stars to the sky. He's a Page of Pentacles. I don't quite know why. And talent shining money news. We could use that. Somebody gonna call me for a job? My phone ain't ringing. I'm looking at the phone right now. Good news, open-minded, realist. This is for somebody else, I think. This is your card. We hope it happens for me too, I mean. But that's gotta be a healing card there. Here. I ain't telling you what the triangles is. Them's is the air, fire, water, earth, and spirit. Triangles, I think. The spirit's not in those. The spirit's a wheel, I think. The other's just triangles. Triangle lovers. You get into esoterics, they's triangle lovers. You're going to notice. You're going to be like, damn, there's a lot of triangles around. Diamonds and triangles, that's all we got. And different shaped molettes. Eustace. Equilibrium, harmony, fairness. We can do some fairness. Integrity. Balance, perception, objectivity. That's going to be Omega on that. So if you're looking for something to work out for you that actually is according to the way it's supposed to be for you, and you were done unfairly, hopefully that works out for you. We know what it's like to get done unfairly. They do it to me regularly. Next card. I reckon the next thing that's going to happen for humanity is dystopian. Because the planners for humanity are dystopian. And I want it to be nice, but I reckon I'm not the one planning it. But I am looking after the direction they're planning it. Let's get a confirmation on that. No upside down, we're going for yes. Rescue, stop. We'll get a confirmation card on that. Yes, upside down. Superficiality. How about this? It was yes. That's not making sense. Oh, here, we were talking about Boaz, Jachin, right? And this is the Templar process right here. The Sephiroth is actually behind her. Kether's up there, right? On this side, it's Saturn. This side, it's Uranus. On this side, it's Jupiter. On this side, it's Mars. Jupiter on this side, Mars on this side. Mars is on the Boaz side. And on this side, it's Venus. And on this side, it's Mercury. And then in the middle, it's Sun and Moon. And at the bottom, it's Malkuth, right? The Earth. You can see it behind him, the Sephiroth tree, her, or however. It's part of this knowledge. The reality is they've been hiding the fractions of intelligent information that have been emanating down from big powers, right? The Elohim, from whenever and forever, right? For as long as this cosm goes. We think how it works is every now and then Jupiter picks our moon back up, starts hanging it around itself, and it gets all crushed up, and some of it gets lost, and it ends up as an orbital, right? There's some lore on that, right? I forgot where that was. And then this place dies off and it gets reseeded, right? Because it's a cosmic recyclery. According to the Greeks, this is a cosmic recyclery. Saturn eats his children. He's not cannibal, right? What he does is this place can get resurfaced like the Etch-a-Sketch just shook up. And they all go back. They either chill here, until the bodies show up. There's many dispositions. They end up in the stars again, or in Jupiter, right? But if there's no bodies here, I heard that nothing really goes in Jupiter. Everything goes. Well, I guess they do get to chill there. But the ones disposed to the box, you're in the box for a long time. That's where most of the mind power here is, because this is kind of a purgatory state that has an uplift channel through Jupiter, right? Through Venus, right? You can go through either pillar. You can go through either pillar. Malefic is malefic. But if you end up benefic, you end up through the other pillar, right? For whatever disposition you are. The trick is initiating some kind of communication process with the powers, right? I know it sounds weird to worship the planets, but you're going to find out there's some value in it. It has something, right? Confirmation on that, worship the planets. That's that card again. Now let's shake it down again. I think I forgot to shuffle. My bad, y'all. So, the next cosmic thing. We keep talking. It's probably going to be from that area near Venus, where there's a bunch of rocks and stuff. And it's a sprinkling, right? So we get several things that happen. There's several ways they like to resurface this place, right? You can tell that we only have a grasp of X amount of 1,000 years at a time, and even the narrative is really bad, right? We almost have only the ever-present, right? To really be like, this is what's happening right now. But hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, I really can't tell for sure if what was going on because there's narrative. And then you start looking to reading it, and you're like, oh, this is all so fantastical. Because it's probably just fiction stuff. Or there was a breakaway society that had access to actual witchcraft power and stuff like that, which, I feign to act like that's a real thing, but pretty skeptical still. Because there was a time where they were doing it without the book. Witchcraft Rebellion. That means everybody's not doing anything with it. That's instant, right? No, there's other stuff to it. But there is a right-hand path, right? And that's what I was trying to confirm. There's a right-hand path. Now, is the sun and moon the best thing for us to consider? Yes and no. It's even got the sun behind his head. I'm taking that. Oh, and Neptune. Nope. So that's the confirmation on that, kids. Neptune is above the sun. So the best decision on that is go to Neptune. It's at the top of the Sephiroth tree. You want to go to the boss. The boss is Neptune. You might want to ask him if you can get access to a spirit to tell you what to do. Because that's what our elders were doing. They were asking for the spiritual mind power to do certain things, and they believed that they were going to get a spirit to do those things. And they ended up doing some of those things. Maybe it doesn't matter what god you pick. You just gotta believe on it and ask on it. I don't know. It seems like everybody gets access to stuff and they have successful cultures or something like that. What about that? Is it Golden Dawny where you just, it can be whatever? You better just name it and get out and do it, right? Queen of Wands. Dominance, ambition, the center of attention, right? She's got the daisy, so indication of the sun, right? And the wand, right? Forward-looking attainment, right? What else do we want to do? Yeah, why not? Let's look. Let's check them down. Is I supposed to do something uplifting? I'm working on it, guys. We're not feeling uplifting right now. Remember, we're malefic, right? How much uplifting you plan on being malefic? We're just not destructive. We're not benefic. Maybe that's what malefic is. They think malefic is all the evil things. That's what these idiot dogmas think. They think they're killing people for Satan or whatever. Satan, that doesn't exist. Where's the evidence of Satan? People's drawings and the creepy stuff they do and the stuff they put on his name? They do that with God too. Where's the indication? I know Saturn exists. I could look through a telescope. I could look in the sky and see bald Jupiter almost every fucking night shining out. I could see Venus whenever she's not behind the sun, and Mercury twice a day. Right? Mars is at the fucking, I don't know what it's called. You can barely see it come up and down, but a lesser activity, I think. That's how we get our mind, guys. And then it's like through the hours in the day, right? Per day has each a different vibe. And the hours of a day have a different vibe, right? So as you transverse. I don't want to transgress the hours. That's not good. I don't want to set that as an opportunity for y'all to get the wrong message out. Might be accountable for it. So the hours of the day are ruled by the planets. That's not true. Let's get double confirmation on that. Yes. Look at double confirmation. Yes. See? 10 is a yes. Sometimes, when your greater malefic pulls with you, you just got to double confirm. All right. Greater malefic doesn't mean he's going to do something bad. He's just not going to do something good, probably. Unless the healing will be balanced, right? If there's healing. Here. Double confirmation on that. What is this? Temperance. That's exactly what we're talking about. In Sagittarius. The Sagittarius process is aiming and luck, because aiming does so much. Luck gets it to the mark, right? Double confirmation. Yes. Ace of Cups. And we know cups is all the stuff inside to get you to the end, right? To get you to the thing. To get you to the prize, right? We're just going yes now. So I wasn't talking about your new relationship beginnings. What else do we want to do? We want yes, no. We want yes, no right now. Yes, no right now. Oh, that's okay. I don't want that. I'm trying to think of what y'all want yes, no on. Is the next time you go to the bar and sleep with somebody going to be the crabs or an STD you can get rid of? Did I do that last time? You're just going to make sure you do it, because people do that shit regularly, sorry. Yes, no. Ooh. But it was upside down. When we get the swords, it could go either way. Let's get a confirmation card on that. Let's see what's up with that. Ooh. Saturn upside down. Is that Jupiter? Saturn on its side is Jupiter? I'm just being funny. Maybe. Triple confirmation. Yes. You just got to get something that's probably not good. Be careful. Wrap it up. Now, is they going to rip you off on your next drink tab? Yes. Got a full 8 on that one. And the sun. Me. And my rising sign. All right. How about what's the things that people's worried about so much? It's like, is their kids going to be able to get jobs? If they went to college, it's probably not going to pay for their fucking college, but we're going to pull some cards. Is they going to get jobs? Yes. Dang, Ace of Swords. That's going to be good. That's going to be good. We like that. Next. Is one of your spouses going to lose their noodle paddle and y'all's going to have to take care of them for the rest of the hours? It's kind of like my dad and his new wife. Yes and no. Jupiter on that. And balanced. Some of you will, some of you won't. Right? It's in the cards. Now, we reckon. Oh, here's a special card. That was the same card. 4 swords. Let's shake these down. So now we know some of the terrible things like that, like the likelihood of getting some kind of naughty diseases. 1 out of 3. So if you sleep with 3 people, you know you're getting something. You know, do the urgy. The urgy. Let me demi-urgy to get you to urgy. With more than one person. Because it's not an urgy if it's one person, right? Just a thought. Let's get a confirmation on that. It is not an urgy with just one other person. There's 3 in there. You saw 3 wands, right? Somebody that's in the cards. Now, build some intention in the deck. 2, right? We're knocking on Uranus. That's 2 on the Sephiroth tree from Kether down to the right to Jachin on the right side, right? That's at number 2. Now we're going to ask a question. We're on the right pillar. I think the benefic question is going to come out. What is the most benefic thing in life for everybody right now? Is America going to come up with a universal retirement fund because none of these companies keep hiring us and keeping us long enough to keep a retirement? Is America going to come up with a bank account, retirement system, and break off markets so we can trade and not have the whales step on every damn thing? Yes. That's awesome. That's like strength on that. Maybe it is we're going to get the federal bank accounts mandatory. You could have more access to all the things if you gave us all mandatory federal bank accounts, and you can clean us out on purpose and be sure that we ain't fraudulizing, nebulating, runicizing, you know? You won't have to worry about administrative fallout or fall off or stuff getting caught in your cracks or cracks getting stuff in your crook or something like that. Confirmation on that. That's Eustace. That means there should be more balance, right? In that area, in my opinion, right? Eustace. Anyways, what else we gonna talk about, y'all? We shaking them down. And we want to ask the Zodiac if you guys are going back this time or getting stuck in the cube. Whatever you're asking, that's the answer. Yes, the Emperor. There is an authority above on that. That's clearly the answer on that. And I told you where to ask. You want to Neptunize, you want to Uranize, you want to tongue worship an Venus, a Uranus from the sky. It's got rings like Saturn. You can do that. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. You want to worship Set and Nut. You want to worship Osiris. You want to worship God's son Horus like me, who worships the sun daily. Sun worshiper. Sun worshiper. Neptune worshiper. Uranus worshiper. Pluto lover. Plutarch lover. With confirmation on solar love. Yep. The Empress is going to love the solar love. And we can see that. Major Arcana right there. Prosperity and creativity. That's Venus all over. You can see it right there with a little, all up in there. All up in there. No. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. The spirits are always trying to flip cards that I don't want to show you, because I've got enough Greater Malefic in me. Just with the speech lines. The cards are also echoing it, because the cards are in my hand. They are echoing an emanation. That's an answer on that. 3 of Wands, we got it earlier. Remember when we were like, one or more than one is not an urgy. Unless it's 3, right? Something like that. Anyways, got that card again. It's a demiurge. If it's only... No, I'm just kidding. Hilarious. How about this one? Y'all want the next big thing to be for everybody is worldwide joblessness, WEF style, World Economic Forum style. Yes and no. Yes and no. Neptune on that. Don't know. Don't know. How about the next draft pony you get is going to have some disease? Just kidding. Confirmation on that. Oh, it's not. That's okay. Don't confirmation on that? No, so it's not. Your horses are going to be healthy. Isn't that good news? If you do it like that, it's malefic. So I can tell you good news, but I have to do it a certain way. That's confirmation on that. We'll leave it all there, y'all. Later. Your greater malefic pulls again.